Good morning, Liz.
Hey Todd, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing terrific. I'm doing terrific. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being a Pipeliner customer. And once again, we have another fun-packed time. Liz Young on the call with us, calling from Europe, calling from London. Liz, thank you. Great to see you.
Great to see you. I'm
And
just laughing at the idea that data is fun. Sorry, I can't help myself.
come on, Liz, data.
No.
This is what for everyone on the call. It's like this is one of those things that it's like we know you're gonna love it, okay? But it is hard to make it fun.
Yeah.
But we are gonna try. That's for sure.
We'll do our best, but absolutely.
And I think we talk about data. We talk about things about how can we get it in, right? And how can we kind of get it out? And then, of course, in that whole scheme of things, we really need to, kind of, I think, mix it around, make it perfect, I thought maybe I hope everyone likes this idea, but we talked about how can we do it from a perspective of maybe more of that bulk items, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got the big list. I went to I got some data and I need to bring it into my pipeliner. Maybe first time, or maybe like you're already using pipeliner for years and
Mm-hmm.
years. Like I need to bring it in, and you're the new person that says bring it in, or get the data out. Right? How can we
Yep.
do that? And then I thought we'd maybe touch about maybe how can we really kind of just on a more of a one-off basis? How can we do it? So we're going to start bulk, and then we're going to go more one-off. And then the bonus item for today is Liz's data fairy. So hang in
I
there.
cannot believe you said that. Everyone is going to believe that there is a data fairy now, and it's going to be your fault.
Oh, it's too funny. Okay. So let's dive in. Liz, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll let you start sharing.
Cool.
And we'll go there, everyone. Plus, just side note here: if anyone has a question along the way, please type it into the comments, and we'll definitely try to focus in and answer all your questions. So.
Okay, so what I'm planning on doing today that I hope everybody finds useful is I'm just going to concentrate on a couple of scenarios that I get quite a lot when I'm helping customers with their data. Okay. As you'd expect from Pipeliner, the reality is that the actual import is really easy, but it's not really about the import itself. When you're talking about data, it's really about the preparation. Yeah. And though you might think she's gone mad, right? It's about
That crossed my mind, Liz. I tell you, you said data is easy to import. I kind of cringed here, but
but
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Physically, though, it's super easy to import.
Okay.
But the madness comes that success with data is very much about a state of mind, right? What do I mean by that? Okay. So what I mean is that you just have to approach this exercise, whether you're at the very beginning of importing data into Pipeliner or whether you've been doing it a million times like I have. Every time you do it, you just have to approach it with the idea that you're the one that has to do the work, to prepare the data and to get it right for import. And then once you've done all of that, the actual import bit is going to be super easy. Yeah. You can't just think, here's my data, Pipeliner, deal with it. And that's why I say the data fairy doesn't exist, right? But people believe that somehow transitioning from their hideous Excel spreadsheet with a million duplicates in and all the the fields that aren't filled in, somehow when that gets into the system, Pipeliner and the data fairy are going to have dealt with it. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen. That's the bad news. The rest of it is all good news because I'm going to give you all of the tips that you need to handle these different scenarios. Okay. So first things first, what can you import? Well, you can import companies or accounts. Yeah, if we're looking, let's go to the list view on here. If you're looking up here, depending on your user rights, because this can be controlled. So, if you're an administrator or a power user in Pipeliner, you might not want to give everybody the rights to import data, bearing in mind the fact that the data fairy doesn't exist and you're going to do some work on it in advance. So accounts, yes, we've got the import button. Okay. Contacts, yep, there it is, the import button. Okay, all good so far. Then we get to slightly more fancy, leads, yep, there it is. And also opportunities. Okay. Where isn't it? Well, you're not going to be importing reports or, things like that. Yeah. And actually at the moment, you can't import activities yourselves. We can do that sort of thing for you. And we often do as part of, an implementation project. But all of the sorts of things that you would want to and need to do on a day-to-day basis, absolutely you can import. Okay. So
Nice. I like to hear that.
what do you need in order to import? Well, you need a CSV file. Just for those who don't know and who want to know and who are still awake, comma separated values, is what it stands for. It's a universal format for data files. Pretty much anything you can ever dream of, even going back into the dark ages when I first started, will import from a CSV file. Okay, so very standard format. And the good news is, of course, that you can start with an Excel spreadsheet and you can just save it to CSV and away you go.
Oh, so I don't have to like learn this CSV language?
No, you don't
Okay,
need to
good. I
worry
want to
about
do
it.
that. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a file save as in Excel and away you
Okay.
go.
I can do that. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
you
good
can.
so far. Okay.
Okay, so these scenarios that I come across a lot, okay, and it's what I'm going to focus on today. So request comes. I need to import my contacts. Okay, contacts, easy to import. Brilliant. Here's my list, right? And 9 times out of 10, this is what the list looks like, when it comes over. Okay.
Now, Liz, I got my glasses on. I'm still a little blind here. Okay, so it looks like it says like first name, last name, and then
First name, last name, company
wait.
name.
Oh, but that we're doing contacts. What was the?
Well spotted. Right. Now, of course, when you import contacts, as long as you've got the name of the company that they work for, then you'll get that mix, that match up. Okay, so if I go here, we've got Alejandra already in the system. She's linked to the company that she works at, right? And when I click there, I open up the account. When I click on the contacts tab, there she is. Okay, so you can get that link. Yeah, no problem at all. You can import that link absolutely fine. In fact, let me just swap to this system here. Okay, so good. Yeah, so we've got our contacts. We know we can import them. We know we can link them to the company that they work at. I've got a bunch here with no company. That's fine too. Yeah, Pipeliner doesn't make you link every contact to a company. So if you're more on a B2C type model, no problem at all. You can still import your contacts with no issues. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
But here's the thing. Let's just start having a look at this data. Okay. There's a company name. Oh, there's a company name. Yeah, same company name. Ooh, that one and that one.
I see what you're saying.
So I'm going to be okay with this data as long as these companies already exist in Pipeliner, but very often, of course, they don't. And if I just went ahead, let me show you the scale of this. If I just do a quick sort. Yeah, because you might think, well, I'm just going to use it to import my accounts, which of course you can do. And in fact, I am going to do, in just a second. But the problem is, if you did that, if you just went ahead as this is, if you look at this block here, you'd be ending up with 6 separate account records for Pipeliner CRM.
Oh, I don't want that.
Nah. 2 for Schmeller, 2 for Cole, So there's something that you need to do to this file to turn it into an accounts file. Because, of course, you have to import your accounts first so that you can link the contacts to the accounts when you bring them in.
Oh, that's a pro tip of the day.
Yeah.
Counts first. Okay.
Accounts first.
Okay.
If you want, account and you want the address of the account and you want the website and everything like that. If you've only got account name, there's a quick shortcut that I'll show you. Okay. So what can you do? Yeah, well, luckily, Excel is your savior here. There is a simple way of turning this contact sheet, which this is what it is, into an account sheet. Okay. And you just have to copy it. And then Excel has this fantastic feature. Yeah. remove duplicates. Okay. And you can just unselect all. And then you can say, you can even use more than one criteria. I'm pretty, specific when I do this. I tend to use some address information as well, just to see, but I know what this data is like. So I'm just going to use these two. Okay. And then I'm going to click on OK. And it tells me that there were 130 rows in there that were duplicate, and I've just got 42 remaining. Okay. And there you go. One row for Pipeliner CRM. And that's what I want, because that's going to create my one account. And then when I bring my contacts in, all 6 of those contacts are going to link to that one company record.
Oh, fancy.
So what I do not want to
Okay.
do is hit the save button here, yeah, because I'm going to override my contacts. So
Okay.
I'm just going to say File, Save As, okay, and I'm going to save this as my accounts. And you know what? I'm just going to put it straight into CSV.
Just like that. Okay, that's easy.
Yep, there we go.
So now we're like 2 steps so far.
2
That's
steps.
I could do that. Okay, I'm good.
And then this one again, File, Save As, make it CSV, call it Contacts. Oh, hang on 1 second. Just undo my duplicate first. There we go. So I've got all my contacts back. And now save as. And then we'll call this one Contacts.
But this little step here this is going to save all the people on the call a lot of time, because you're whizzing through
I
this.
hope so.
Yeah. Okay, this is great.
Yeah. So now what have I got? Yeah, from this one sheet. And this very often, if you're buying in data, this is the sort of layout that you get an awful lot. An awful lot of that bought in data is going to be contact focused, but you only want that one account. So this is a real pro tip in terms of preparing your data. And it's one of those that as soon as you know it, then just all the pain just goes away. Yeah. Now, if your data is hideous, the pain never goes away. It's just the reality of it. You're going to have to sort it out, because if it's hideous, it's still going to be hideous when you've imported it, So all the work is done in the preparation.
Okay.
But we can map all of these things. So we can even map things like owner, which is over here. Yeah. Now, I exported this data from Pipeliner, so I know that this is going to match exactly. Okay. But what if I had actually put in my username in Pipeliner as Elizabeth Young?
Oh,
yeah.
Trouble.
Yeah, the trouble ahead.
Okay.
Big trouble ahead.
Okay.
So what I would advise, again, even if you've got it like this, because you don't always know exactly how your users have entered their first name and last name, because as even as an admin or power user, you've got no control over how the user enters their own name. They could have called themselves Liz, they could have called themselves Elizabeth. You just don't know. Okay. So what I very strongly advise with this sort of thing is that you just do a find and replace. Okay. And you just basically go, replace, and then you'd have, and just replace it with the email address.
Oh.
Okay.
So the email address, that Pipeline will figure it out?
Yeah, Pipeliner figures it out,
Oh,
because
nice.
it doesn't matter what the user has called themselves in their name. Yeah. Bob, Robert, Bill, William, all of those things. I mean, right enough, you can go into Pipeliner and you could look, but, equally, it's just solid to replace it with the login. Yeah. So, and, you can see it's relatively simple. If you've got loads and loads of users, does this sort of thing take some time? Yes, it does. I can't not tell you that that's true, because it is true. It does. Okay. Other thing for you to think about. So if you're importing sales units, if you're using them, if you've just got one, your main unit, well, you're good. You don't have to worry about it, because all users' records are going to belong in that one sales unit. But, maybe you've got sales units that look a little bit like this. Okay. This data will not import if Todd doesn't have access to this sales unit in his user setup. Okay, so you just need to be aware of all of these things. You can't just decide how you want it to be and expect Pipeliner to catch up with you. You need to make sure, you need to know that Todd has access to the Australian sales unit. Said not
Oh, that's good.
problem.
I'm glad we did our users and roles last week.
Exactly.
Right? So everyone on the call, there's a whole session on that. Liz
Yeah.
explained everything to me, trust me.
So it all sort of hangs together. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Perfect.
Now, again, if you've got drop downs in here, yeah, we don't really have any in this particular data, but if you're mapping to drop down fields in Pipeliner, you want to make sure that your incoming values already exist on the list in Pipeliner, because you don't want to be importing invalid data, and you certainly don't want to be importing records that your users are then going to be prompted to update every time. Yeah. So go into your Pipeliner system, have a look in the admin module. Yeah, find the field that you're thinking of importing. Have a look at what values you've got, in there. This is a really big one. Okay, because, again, if you're buying in data from, Dun & Bradstreet or something like that, then, again, you might well be asking for the industry or market sector of that company. That's cool, right? But their market sectors may well not match what you've got in your industry list in Pipeliner, and you want to match those two things up to get the best result.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I can handle that. So far, it's not hard. It's just the steps.
Mechanics.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Okay.
It's just the mechanics of it. Yeah. And once you sort of just approach it with that mindset, then, you're going to be fine. Okay. So I've got a lot of this data already in, which is great because I can show you something else that Pipeliner can do for you. So within your sheet, within your account sheet or within your contact sheet, you need to make sure that there are no duplicates. Okay. Because when you're bringing that data in, it's just going to create a record for every single row that you've got in your sheet. Yeah. So if you've got the same person in there multiple times, you will get duplicate records. Okay. It's just the way of it. It will import whatever data you choose to give it. So why wouldn't it import it? Right. It's like, it's not magic. You've given it that data. It's going to do exactly what you've asked and import it. So you need to sort out your duplicates first. Okay. I always use this one. Yeah. So I would look at this, and I always use this conditional formatting. In fact, let me do it on account name just because I know that there are duplicates in there. So if you use this highlight cell rules and you just switch on duplicate values, I mean,
this is like Excel training at the same time as Pipeliner training. You're amazing, Liz. Thank you.
All of these things just make it so easy for you because it can feel like hard work, Exactly. And it isn't really, as long as you've got the tips to help you. So instantly, this is telling you that you've got these duplicates in the data. Okay. Now it's cool because we're, this is my contacts list. But, if you were doing it on name, it would show up, duplicate names. Email address is fantastic to use. Because if you've got the same email address twice, you've got a duplicate contact in there. Right. Okay. Okay, so then what do we do? So then we go to accounts because that's what we're going to import first. Okay, and we click on the import button. Now you can download a sample file to use to build your data set from. It's just basically the standard fields in Pipeliner, and then you can add new columns to it for all of the stuff that's specific to you, all of your custom fields, for example. Or like me, you can just build it from scratch. Okay, so it reminds you about your CSV, and then you click to upload, and then you upload a document. Okay, and then if I go to, where did I save that file now? Here? No, let me check.
I think you called it accounts, though.
I did, but where did it go?
There, is that it? No.
Yeah. Where is that? That's annoying. Oh, do you know what? I'm just going to resave it.
So someone had a question, Liz, while you're doing it.
Yep, go ahead while I'm faffing around with this.
Do you want to import it, because when importing these lists, you want to import it as accounts or leads? And I think we answered that. I think
that's coming up.
Oh, that's coming up. Okay,
That's
so
coming up.
Winston, stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I found it, faffing around there. So here's my accounts. Yeah, this is the encoding. You can generally just leave this as is. There's only one exception to that. If you're in Europe, for example, and you've got a lot of accented characters in your data, choose Western European. If you're in the US and you don't, ignore it, just leave it on auto. Okay.
Okay.
And then you click column contains headers. What does that mean? That means that my top row has got the field names in it. That's all that means.
Okay.
Okay. And then you click on next, and here's the mapping. So here is the form from Pipeliner. Yeah, literally, it's what would you see if you went to the account.
Okay. Gotcha.
And these are all of the fields that are in your file. And the ones you don't need, you just leave them behind. So we're importing accounts. We don't need first name and last name because that's contact. So we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to have taken those out of our file. As long as we know, yeah, then we just ignore those and we just drag and drop over here for our account name. And then we're going to put homepage in website. And yeah, everyone getting it?
Easy. Yeah. Okay.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just literally just drag and drop the whole lot. Okay, until you've got all of the fields. Here's the owner. If you don't map a column called owner, all of these records will belong to you who's doing the import. Now, of course, it's not a big deal. Can you go in and assign ownership to somebody else afterwards? Of course you can. You can use bulk update to do that. I'm going to touch on bulk update in just a second. Okay, so all good. You know, nothing is ever irrevocable in Pipeliner, as you all know by now. But if you want it to map directly to another person, you have to map that owner. Okay, it's the same with that sales unit field. So Europe is my default, and I'm the person importing. But of course, all these owners might not have access to that. So I must drag and drop and map my sales unit field to get that to work properly. Okay. And of course, why would I not? Because I spent the time doing the find and replace in Excel to put my email addresses in there. So, you know, obviously I meant to map it as I was doing it. Okay. And then I just drag these and I leave those behind because I don't need those for this particular import. And then I just click on import. There we go. Nothing has happened. No harm has come to your data.
Oh.
This is temporary. Yeah, it's like it's a temporary file that shows you what your data will be looking like when it's imported. And you can click on a record. And then over here on the right-hand side, it's going to show you exactly. So this one's going to go to Australia and, you know, it's going to belong to me. And
Hey Liz, what if I
where's
see
everything
something and
mapping?
because my eye can pick it up, right? So what if I see something that's different? Do I have to go all the way back on my Excel
No,
and do the whole entire re-import and save it
absolutely
as
not.
another file? And
Nope, you can literally just interact with it directly from here.
oh, on a one-off basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will need to
Oh,
do that on email addresses. Because if
okay.
you've got a lot of data, you know, if
Mm-hmm.
you're imagining thousands of records in here,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
not uncommon, it's really hard. You can do all sorts of finds and replace in Excel, of course you can, but it's really hard to pick out an email address that's got a space in it, you know, and things like that, and they'll be invalid.
Oh,
So,
I
you know,
see.
best will in the world, you probably, if you're importing thousands of contacts, you're going to get some issues with some of the email addresses. You don't have to back out. You can literally just, you know, amend them and you'll generally find. So if I do, it'll look like this. Yeah, because it's
It's in
got to
red. Oh,
have,
okay. Red is bad.
an at, yep,
Okay.
and it's got to have a dot something. Okay.
Okay.
So if you don't have an at and you don't have a dot something, it's going to look like this. And also, if it looks otherwise perfect, right? So this, you know, you look at it and you think, well, what's wrong with that? Okay, it's always going to be a space at the end.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
always going to be a space at the end. Okay, so yeah, you know, if you're really into this and you have got huge amounts of data, do some fancy Excel stuff, you know, in terms of checking. If people have copied and pasted email addresses out of Outlook, you can quite often get mail to : at the beginning of an email address, that's a super easy thing to do a find and replace on. And all the work you do before you save your file is going to save you endless hours of like, you know.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
just like this. And so these are all the fields I'm bringing in. If there's something maybe I just want to update it. Like if I'm,
you just
you know,
update it.
the sales guy and I'm bringing in 10 records, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or 20,
Yeah.
right? Something kind of cool. What's that little, after it says like zip, country, parent account in the headers there?
Up
Can I
here.
bring in, can I bring in other, those are
No,
everything we're bringing in. Okay.
yeah, these are all the fields that you're bringing in so that you can get
Excellent.
that preview. Yeah.
Perfect.
And you can, of course, you know, as soon as you've made a change, you can accept individual records. That actually puts it into Pipeliner and takes it off of this list.
Oh, so it's straight away in.
Yeah.
Ah,
So you just
cool.
go accept. And here we go. So this is where we get fancy. Okay. So I said that you need to deduplicate your data because it doesn't look inside the file for duplicates. What it does do, though, is look into Pipeliner to see if that record already exists. And it's looking at the account name, and it's looking at phone numbers and email addresses. Nothing is foolproof. Okay, so if you've got no email addresses and no phone numbers, they're not going to be very helpful because a blank is a duplicate of a blank. Yeah, but this is looking and it's saying that this account name already exists in Pipeliner. What do I want to do? I can just say skip all the duplicates. Yeah, I can create duplicates. Not so much with accounts and contacts, sometimes with opportunities or leads, maybe. Yeah. I can update existing, or I can back out, go look at my data again, stomp around, cursing, and then come back and do it again later. Yeah. This one, though, this one's important. Okay. You will never use this option if you've got two columns in your data. Yeah, this is not an option that allows you to incrementally add a field you forgot the first time round.
Okay.
You need to have all of your data in the file. Yeah, otherwise you would wipe out what's already there. We'll touch on that again in a second. Okay, so I'm going to skip. Yeah, so I'm just going to close that one down because I've got all that data already in the system here. Okay, I'm just going to very quickly show you similar sort of thing for contacts. So import.
So once again, we do the accounts first. Then we do the contacts.
Yep.
Okay, I figured that out. That was a pro tip. I got you.
But then you get to this, right? And you're like, she told me I had to do those first.
You know they're going to send you an email about that too, Liz.
I could just do it right here. Well, yeah, except that the only thing that will be created on your new account record is the company name.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so it will create an account for you, but it's not going to allow you to map the company address, the website, or anything like that. Yeah, so there are no shortcuts to this sort of thing if you want great data. Click on next. And again, you do the same thing. Not going to do it all the way through, just going to show you. So we do first name, last name. Just note that you need them separately. Yeah, last name's a required field in Pipeliner. This is how you match those contacts to the companies you've already imported. Account name goes here in the account card. And it's that that's going to put these people on their
That's going to link them all together. Okay.
Yeah. And then if you import, just show you again. Yeah. So this is the primary account that it's going to be linked to. And if you click and you scroll down, that's what it looks like. If it doesn't look like that, okay, so let me click on maybe one of these. No, I think they all, let's take that off. If it looks like If it looks like that,
Mm-hmm.
it has not found a match.
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay. Now you can, again, because you can dynamically interact with this, you know, you can go, well, okay, well, it's that one. Yeah, you know, so you can sort that sort of linking out on the fly as well. But if you just go ahead with it looking how it did before, then, you know, that contact won't be linked to an account.
Okay.
Okay. Again, no problem. Yeah, you can do it afterwards. Nothing is unforgivable or fixed in stone in Pipeliner. But, you know, these things have cause and effect. Yeah, so I'm just going to close that one. Okay, so here we go on leads, because I get this a lot. If I go to leads, yeah, I can import my leads, no problem at all. I'm just going to click on create new. What have I got here? Well, you know, I've got lead name, that's required. I've got other stuff here. I've got a link to a company and a link to a contact. Yeah, if you remember, this is what that looks like when you're working with it.
Oh yeah, this is the one-to-many with any functionality.
Yeah, it
That's so
is.
unique
Whoops.
to Pipeliner. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this mean though? Because this can be confusing, and I understand that for people. It's because in our minds we often think of people that we haven't sold to before as leads, or even
Mm.
companies that we haven't sold to before as leads. And this is one of those, going back to what I said at the beginning about the state of mind. Yeah, you cannot just expect that it's going to work out, that you think a certain way and adapt itself, because it's just a computer. That's all. So you have to prepare your data correctly. Okay, so I've got a lead file here. And if your data looks like this, then you're okay with this scenario that I'm about to show you. So I've got a company name, and I've got an email and a phone number for that company, and I've got a person, and I've got an email and a phone number. Okay, great. File, save as my CSV, in my leads, import. Yeah, everyone getting the idea?
Yeah, what if you have one field you want to maybe have it go like on the lead form and on the contact form and on the
Well,
account form? Do I have to do that in Excel, or is that something and just have it, because you always say do it in Excel and then map it? Is that holding true here as well?
let me show you. Yeah.
We get a special trick.
So what I get here, yeah, with this particular file, with these options, yeah, let me show you. So I can leave on the auto create and click next. But, and it's a big but for a lot of people, as you'll see in just a second. Okay, so I've got all of my things, you know, I've got my owner, and I've got my sales unit. Okay, and I've even got my created date in the right format. We'll talk about that in a second. Down here, when it comes to that creating the account and the contact, these are the only fields I've got access to.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can do this. And of course, if I have a lead file that only includes this data, well, fair enough. Yeah, I can just map it.
Will it
And there we
duplicate
go.
check too in there?
No,
This is
no.
auto creating because you click the button create. Okay,
Yeah,
I got you.
absolutely.
So in
Okay.
other words, probably just make the extra column in
Yeah.
Excel and then you can bring it over. It's easy enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because most people's lead data
Hmm.
actually looks like this. And of course, in Pipeliner terms, this is accounts,
Right.
contacts, and leads.
Right. And we want to link them all together. So we're
Yeah.
probably doing like this. So I got it straight, right? Do account importing, and then we do
Mm-hmm.
contact importing, and
Yeah.
then
And
lead
then
importing.
leads.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's easy enough. As
Absolutely.
long as you know the flow, it's
As
all
long as you
linking
know the
together.
flow,
It's
it's
easy.
fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, you can use exactly, you know, if this is what you come back from your trade show with,
Mhm.
right? You just get yourself a cup of coffee and you sit down with Excel and you use all those tips that I just showed you. You know, so if we're thinking about companies, we've got some duplicate companies in here. You just use that data, remove duplicates, save as your accounts list, import it. Come back, you know, contacts, again, if you've got duplicates, get rid of your duplicates, and then you've got your leads. Yeah. So all about the data preparation, all about knowing what you're importing, Yeah, all about the order. Accounts, contacts, leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities.
Gotcha. Okay. That's
Okay.
you know what I mean. I mean, this isn't boring at all. This is really cool. See, Liz, you thought it was going to be kind of boring. This is really nice.
I'm amazed if anyone's still awake. You know, it's
Oh,
like,
come on
it's
now. I
just
see some
data
people
for
are
you.
raising their hands. They're asking questions. We got global people around the world. Arnie and Jose, they're waking up now. Whew. Here we go.
Well, they're going to be asleep by the end of it.
No.
So let's talk about getting data out. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, whether or not you can use this export button depends on your user rights, because obviously it's the sort of thing you might be a bit wary about giving to everybody. You know, can they take your data out of your system? You know, it's one of those judgment calls, and you decide that. Of course, we have, you know, it's your decision. But if you can export, in each of the main areas, you're going to have an export button. Okay, and you can just click on export. And again, you can choose, you know, Excel or CSV. CSV is that sort of, you know, standard. And you click on save, and because it's a website, there we go. We're going to get it down here. And if I open it, take a second to load, and there we go. Okay, there's my leads. Click on enable editing. And you'll see that I've got every field that I can see from my lead. And that includes the company that it's linked to, and it includes the person. What if you wanted more information about these things though? Yeah, because when you export from leads, you get lead information and that's it. And if you export from contacts, you get just contacts, which can include their company name, but you know, but that's it. And that's why I would always use a report to export from. Okay.
Pro tip of the day number 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Why? Well, because of course you can build it however you want. And of course, here's one I prepared earlier. So this is a contact report. And what I've added into it is information about the account for that contact.
Oh, I gotcha.
And
okay.
all I need to do that here in my report settings, in my columns, in my column chooser. Yeah, I'm going to start off with all my contact fields because it's a contact report. But as I scroll down, I'm going to get past all my contact, and there we go. Yeah, there's all my account fields. So I can choose, these are the ones we saw last time. Yeah, I can choose whatever fields I want to about the account as well as the contact. And then of course, when I do an export from here, I'm not just stuck with those, you know, contact only fields. Now, when I export my full report.
Oh, full report now. Okay.
Never use the simplified. I always like, just give me my full report, do it now.
Right? Exactly.
And of course it does. Yeah. So now I've got all my contact fields here, and then I've got all of my account fields.
Well, this is great because you can also share it or save it, right?
Yep.
Share it with the right people, and then it'll dynamically be updated. So at any time you want to kind of re-export that again, then boom, they have it right there.
Absolutely.
So I think that'd save a lot of time too from redoing things.
And also, if I've imported data and I found out a little bit later that there's something else that I want to add, and that something is different for each of those contacts, this is what I would do. I already said that update existing option wouldn't allow you to just add country to your existing records, for example, because if the only field you mapped was country, you'd lose all the rest of it. But of course, it's easy. All you need to do is export your data and then add a column for the new data that you want to add to your existing records. Yeah, so let's say that now we need to know about and we want some yeses. Have they got them or not? And we want some no's. And we want some maybes.
Right.
Yeah. So now, then I would just save my file as CSV, import it again. All of these are going to be, it would see as duplicates. I would map all of my fields, yeah? And then what I would end up with was all the data that's already there and the new data.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and that's really crucial, okay, that everybody knows about that. And this is the quickest and easiest way to make sure you lose no data when you're doing that update.
Oh, that's great. I could even see a good use case. I guess one wanted to kind of export maybe their current accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe update it with, I don't know, maybe like some accounting data,
Yeah.
right? Something like, I don't know, maybe how much they've ordered year to date, or maybe their terms, or something like that.
Yeah, that
Maybe
would be
once a
cool.
week, once a month, whatever. It's like someone doesn't really need a full bi-directional integration, and if they just kind of want to, help everybody out and give them the right data,
Yeah,
they could just have
yeah,
accounting update the sheet and then boom, pop it right back in, and they're good to go.
that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, and as
Oh,
long as you
brilliant.
know,
I'm brilliant today. Okay. I like
but
that.
as long as you know that you've got to have all the data there to map back, then you're cool.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, of course, you can get a different scenario on that. Yeah. So that's when you want to update existing records. Okay. But you want to put the same value on a batch of records. Okay. So that you don't need to do that whole import thing in order to do that. Remember the bulk update. It's fantastic. Okay. Now, unlikely you're going to bulk update the same value on every single account. So you're probably going to need a filter. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a filter here. I'm going to switch on my filtering. I'm going to have a custom just to show you, but I'm going to choose account class in any case, which I could have got from that preset. Right. So what I'm doing is I'm updating my A's. Yeah. So here's my filter. Filtering, of course, fantastic in Pipeliner. Yeah. Now I'm going to select all my records and I'm going to use the bulk update. Ownership is like a special type of bulk update, and you need rights to do that. You need manager rights. Bulk update, here we go. So what have I got here? I've got all my account fields. But Liz, I can't do it because they're all grayed out. It's not working for me. It is. It is. It's fine. Just tick it.
The tick box.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, maybe they're all vendors now. And maybe we want them all to be in. This is why I said I wouldn't use your system, Todd.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe we're putting them all in, the highest revenue band. So you can do that bulk update on combinations of fields, yeah, whatever you like. But of course, this value, this one that you pick here, is going on all of those records. Yeah, unlike the import scenario where I had some yeses, I had some nos, I had some maybes. Yeah, in this sort of scenario, it'd be all yes or all no or all
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, depending on my
Yeah.
filter.
Yeah,
Right.
and I like this too, because I think, just so everybody knows, you can do this kind of bulk update on leads, opportunities,
Uh-huh.
accounts, contacts, even activities.
Even
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
use case there is, oh, geez, like you, Liz, you're going to be gone tomorrow, right? A little holiday, right? And
Yeah.
so you're like,
Yes.
geez, I have those 10 calls scheduled for tomorrow, but I'm just going to put them off till next week when you're back, right? And
Yep.
so boom, you collect those activities, do the tick box on the date, and then hit update, and
Yep.
automatically all those calls are moved for you.
Perfect. Oh, it's just so flexible.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
very cool. I like this.
And this one is cool as well, because when you're using the ownership button, it manages both sales unit access and ownership. The bulk update allows you to do those things separately. So you could
Gotcha.
just update owner without sales unit, or just update sales unit without owner. Yeah. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, you're looking at the ownership button, you're like, oh, I only want one of those. Just go to the bulk update, works in exactly the same way. Yeah. And then away you go.
Nice.
Okay. Now, if you don't have rights, you're going to get this sort of thing.
The
Okay.
denied
Yeah.
window. I've gotten
Yeah.
that window before. Okay.
The computer says no. Why does the computer say no? Well, the computer says no because either you don't have the rights to update the record, or there's something bad on it. Okay. So here's a tip. Click on edit. Well, this one's immediately obvious. Okay, because this says, well, this is owned by an inactive user, and because they're inactive, they don't have that anymore. So, you change the ownership. Yeah. But sometimes it's not that obvious. Okay. So in those instances where you're looking at it and it's not in your face red like this, which is telling you exactly what the problem is. Rado is not an active user. He does not have access to this sales unit. You need to be changing the ownership. That's what this is saying. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't say that, right? So what you do is make a change, any change, hit the save button, and then scroll down your record. And the bad thing will be in red. And then you fix the bad thing, and then you'll be able to update it. Okay,
Red,
so that's
bad,
always
stop,
yeah,
fix, go to green. Okay.
red equals wrong.
Okay.
You know, do something about it. Okay, so it's always that. There's always going to be like some invalid value or something there. And as I said, if you just force any change, then it will come up and show you the red badness.
Nice.
Okay.
This is fantastic.
I really hope that everyone's found that useful because, it's like, it can feel like it's a really tricky thing. And as soon as it's just a process. You just work your way through it. But yeah, it can feel a bit daunting if you're starting from scratch. So I really hope that that everybody finds that useful.
But wait, there's more.
Oh.
So time to wake up from data. This is another fun part. Because sometimes in bulk and in back, which is terrific, but sometimes what we need to do is just on an ongoing basis bring in data. So with that, and actually just released, and I think it's in the very Google approved it, so now it's getting launched and migrated into our website. So it's out there. It's just maybe a few days away, everybody. Okay, so just bear with me on that. But we call it our Google Forms integration. Okay, and what this means, okay, and it's up on the website, and there's the help documents that Liz has prepared. But let me show you a real life example here. Okay, we have a company here. We'll call it it's TSG Water. Because I know Jose is on the phone. Hello, Jose. Yeah. Okay, and so the use case may be, wow, I have this really cool area that's on my website called contact, like contact me, right? And if you don't have one of these on your website, well, do yourself a favor, get one, right? But by using Google Forms, okay, we can take the data that's entered here, like first name, last name, company name, email, whatever field you have, right? We're not the judge of what you put on there, okay? But what can happen then is with that add-on, you can take those fields that you've created, okay, using Google Forms, and then once someone fills that out and completes it, it can automatically go into Pipeliner, okay? And you can create the contact like Liz talked about, or the account, or a lead. Okay, so you can really, yeah, isn't that cool? I mean, and that's just a start, you know what I mean? So it's like, boom, boom, and it's in there. Okay, now you still have your Google Sheet that kind of lists all your leads out in that file separately, right? Like lead one. Okay, but all of this is automatically gone in from your website right in there. Okay, now, our marketing person, he was talking about, hey, should we do some surveys of people that maybe they're affected by COVID right now? Okay, maybe someone in the hotel industry or travel, right? I mean, tough times for everybody, right? But they're especially affected, right? And so we said, hey, should we send like a survey out to them and just see how they're doing? See if we can do anything to help out. And it was like, great. So why don't we use like Google and the survey functionality built right into Google Forms to do that? So just isn't that cool? So with Google Forms, it's really nice. And I think you may have outlined it here because you're, by the way, Liz, your help document's awesome. I mean, everybody, look at all the pictures. I'm just a picture guy, right? But it's like, do this, do that. I mean, trust me, I can do it with all her descriptions. But
you're too kind.
I know, but trust me, on this section here, I was reading it, and really, it's about how to collect those form submissions. So we talked about with like TSG Water how they can have it up on their website, but we can also maybe include that form in that email we sent out for the survey. Kind of cool, right? Here's a link, they can click on it and do it, or just in a post. So really cool ways to kind of think outside the box a little bit to help you and really be able to kind of bring in that and do that Google Forms integration. Okay. Or really what other people call it is WebForm integration.
Yeah. Nice.
Now, if you go to your website person and you're like, this is so cool, I need to get it into Pipeliner. And they're like, oh, and they may use different terms, right? Like different types of web form builders. Okay. And don't panic, because so many of those big web form builders, like, what's a couple of them, Liz, that you see the most out there? Something like,
Oh gosh, what do people use? Job forms.
yeah, job forms. That's like one of the biggest ones, right? So
Yeah,
like,
people talk about WordPress sites and
yeah. So not to worry, because most of those big companies have already integrated with
yeah,
Google, another big company, right? And so you just say, hey, can you connect it to the Google Forms? And then boom, you just follow the directions here, and you're off and running. Pretty basic and pretty easy, and I like that. So I highly
yeah.
recommend get away at all cost of, you get a lead from the website and you email the sales guy, because guess what? They hate data entry. So stop giving them something that they hate. Hey, come on, right, Liz?
How do you feel about that, Todd?
I really don't like that. It's like, or I can automatically get a lead, put it in there. I can use my personal automatizer that we talked about in one of
Oh
our
yeah.
previous ones. And even if I just do it as my own as a salesperson, I could say, hey, the second I get a lead, or maybe an hour later, I just fire off a personal email. Right? I can then automatically have a call scheduled for me with an alert. And then boom, it rings on my mobile phone. Hey, what do you know? And that helps me out. So I can just click the button and I call the person, right? And it's all automated. And so that's where we want to get to with your leads, because in case you forgot, the longer you wait, the colder the lead gets.
Yeah,
So that's the tip
that
with
is
that.
brilliant.
Yeah. So once again, I highly recommend it. Should be live and ready for full primetime usage. It's included in all our versions. Okay, whether you're on cloud or hybrid, and if you're on starter, business, or enterprise, it's everywhere. We think it's that important, and there's no extra cost for it.
Nice.
Okay, cool. We like those. The second one, though, okay, just about getting data in here, okay, and we call that our web clipper.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah, what do you know? Web clipper. Good, cool name, right? And
Yeah.
so, and I don't know if you can kind of see it, but you see, and it's so small, and I can't really make it big, but there's a pipeliner icon in my
Uh-huh.
Chrome window here. I got a lot of them because I like Chrome, but you see it there. So, how do I get this cool web clipper, right? And what does it really do? Well, what I can do here is I can go to my Google Chrome Web Store. Okay. And you don't have to be like a Gmail user. You should still be like an Outlook user,
Uh-huh.
because most people, um, a lot of people have that, I'm not saying which
Yeah.
one to go with, but if you or your company has a Google account, which probably everybody has at least one, right? And then you can just go ahead and go to your Chrome Web Store, pick out which version you're on, okay? And the one we're going to want to use this for is Pipeliner Cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, so not the hybrid one, okay, the desktop version, we're talking about the cloud one, okay? And you just go ahead and it will say add it, and you click to add it, like add to Chrome, okay? And once it's in there, it'll automatically be on there, okay? Now, let me tell you the use case here, Liz. I think you'll like it, okay?
Okay.
Let's say perhaps I'm a salesperson, and once again, I need to get data in, and I really hate data entry. Really don't like it, okay? And so let's say, for example, I'm talking to this person, I'm talking to Christy, okay, Christy Brock, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, geez, I really need to bring Christy into my database, because, well, I'm gonna start, kind of emailing her or calling her, trying to, have, whatever. So I can just say, you know what, geez, I just click on my Chrome extension here, okay, and I say, what do you want to add? I can either add a lead, an account, a task, or a contact.
Ooh.
That's really cool right there, okay? I'm just gonna say contact, okay? So see where it said searching? It's, Liz, this is so cool. It's seeing she's already in there. Because,
No.
yeah, cool, right? And then,
Yeah, that is
okay,
cool.
put her picture in, which is gonna transpose over to Pipeliner, name. Now you may say like, oh, geez, you know what? I wanna change something here, okay? And this is what I found, because besides creating just the contact, wouldn't it be nice, right, to also create that account?
Ooh.
Okay, but see how she's at two places.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Douglas Elliman Real Estate and Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, which I think one purchased the other one. Okay, so what happened is we don't maybe, and you see how it says back down here in the
Yeah.
middle,
Uh-huh.
it says both says present, and that's why there's two of them. But wherever it says present, it can add that account at the same time. Now maybe I
Ooh.
don't want the lower one, so I can just click the X, done. Okay, and it'll automatically create that. In a certain situation, maybe though, you already know that company's maybe in there. Okay, so I could kind of go in and I could pick the company that I want her associated with.
Oh, that's
You,
sweet.
no deduplicate, right? And then I just hit save. It says go, and I'm creating it. Boom, it's done. Maybe you want to create another one. Maybe create a lead right for her as well, right from here. Once again, I'm not even going into Pipeliner. I'm just like, boom. Oh yeah, link it to her, link it to the, boom. Once again, who do I want to link it to? Maybe I want to link. See, now it's taking that lead like you talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Link it to the account, contact. Maybe you want to put some other thing in there, like change your lead name to best sister in the world. It's my sister's.
Bless.
Okay, and then we can say save. Hi, Chris, if you're watching. Okay, and there we go. So it's just an easy way to kind of get data off, not only here, okay, but if I was on another website, I could just go ahead, if we go back to Jose's website, and if I wanted to say, geez, I want to bring in this company information here, okay, and because they're in Gainesville, okay, I can click on that, and then at the same time, I go ahead and say, geez, you know what, I just need to highlight this, create maybe an account, and it can bring in that information as well.
Oof,
Okay.
that's nice.
So, it's just multiple uses with that, but real life scenario, if you're on a computer, you need to add somebody. I mean, I think last time we talked about our, which, I'm the biggest fan of, our Gmail and our Outlook integrations and how you could do it right from an email. This is just another way bringing it right into the fold. Okay.
And this is brilliant because this is sort of the day-to-day, isn't it? That whole import thing, I know, maybe once a month but this is just so handy day-to-day.
And guess what? Included in all of our versions on our cloud version. So starter, business, enterprise at no charge. Woohoo. So there you go. So that's really nice there. There's one other thing, okay, that I like to kind of talk about, and that is sometimes we have different departments. Okay, this happens a lot at big companies. Okay, Liz, and you probably know who you are. Okay, but somewhere, either the people on this call or somewhere else have really said, I need to take pipeliner data, okay, and I need to kind of make it work with other data sets that I have at the company.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes you'll hear words like, maybe like a data lake. Okay.
Yeah.
What's another word that you hear pop up?
Warehouse.
Data warehouse. That's a good one. Okay. And we say, just what's that? Okay. And what happens is you want to sometimes combine like, Pipeliner, pure play, best of breeds, best CRM in the world for sales. Okay. Along with maybe your ERP data. Okay, if you're a manufacturing company, and maybe you have another company that you even outsource all your marketing lead generation to. They have another database, right? So what do you do with all these databases? Well, we can take the data sets from like all different places, and we'll use tools. I think two of the most popular ones, Liz, are what? What are the two? Is it Power BI? Is that
Power BI? Yep. Tableau. Google Data Studio.
Google. Okay, so okay, right there. Okay, cool. And what we do is, and this is great. Okay, and this can actually take the pipeliner data, okay, and then automatically take a full, I'm talking full copy paste of your whole entire data set, okay, and then almost like store it next to your other database in the cloud. Okay, this is not for the light. Okay. Okay. If you want to see it or see what it looks like, if you're an admin, you can go into your automation hub, and it looks like a little, I don't know how you describe that, kind of a little
data stack.
Data stack. I like that, Liz. Okay. So you could click it, and then really what you need to decide, which is really easy to do, right? But what we enable you to do, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger because it's that important.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You can decide on which tables are actually replicated. Okay. So for example, maybe I'm like, I don't really want lead data in this or opportunity data, but the account data is extremely important. In fact, I even want to maybe like rearrange the order of that, just so I can eyeball it and see it on my own. Okay, so you can really get in there and then even decide.
You can add anything.
Yeah, anything, any and all, right? And I think that's so nice. I mean, this is enterprise level ripping. Okay, it is extra. Okay, I need it, and it's only available in our cloud. But we did make it available in the starter, business, or enterprise edition that you'd be able to actually get that hat on. Okay, and it's not terribly expensive either. So
the thing I love about this is it's just like creating a report.
Right.
It feels like a real technical thing, but actually when you get down to it, you just choose your fields just exactly as you would if you were inside of Pipeliner creating a report.
Yeah. And I was going to go into my Power BI, okay, and show you how it looks and everything like that. But in all honesty, if you're using Power BI at your company, there's the people over there that kind of manage and customize your Power BI or your Google Studio. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not for the light. Okay, it's a dedicated field of practice and expertise. So definitely bring them into the loop. Okay, we can definitely kind of set up some test scenarios and really kind of show you what that data set would look like and if it would be applicable for you. But tremendously powerful, and I'm real excited about BI Feeder, obviously.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So yeah. So I think that's about it.
Yep.
What about the data fairy? Come on, right? One last thing, 1 minute. Liz, what is this? What is this social profiling? What does that do?
I'm not even playing. You brought up the data fairy, you have to do it.
Okay. I'll tell you what. So if you're in Pipeliner, right, and you've gone through and you've done, maybe like any of the ways we talked about, right? We talked about the web clipper on a one-off basis. We talked about your forms on your website, getting that data in. We also talked about importing that data from any place. Okay, so as any of that data is coming in, we have an add-on. We call it social profiling. Okay, but what it does is automatically, as soon as you change a record, and it applies to contacts and accounts, so both. Okay, Liz,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as you do that, let's say, and it reads it. So on the account record, it takes the data from the URL, okay, the website. So it's
Okay.
very unique, right? And then on the contact record, it takes the email because that's very unique. So those are the two fields. And if it finds a match, it'll automatically fill in a bunch of information for you because that's how salespeople,
Nice.
right? And so we're talking about different social profiles, okay? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, there's like 27 of them, okay? It'll also put in maybe like the city, state where the person, or the country where the person's located, or the company's located, right? And okay, I gotta tell you the real reason I like it, Liz. Okay, the best part is it puts the avatars. Because I like a pretty database, right? Because data's
Yeah,
fun,
it
right? And
does look
so,
good.
right,
Yep.
it puts the logo of the company on that record, and it puts the person's picture. Okay, so we all that they use maybe on their social kind of profiles. So it's a little extra add-on, but talk to your salesperson, and they'll be able to kind of go through it or turn it on temporarily. In fact, if you're on the call right now and you're listening, email Liz or I, and we'll turn it on for you for a month for free. Okay, just our little gift today. So.
Okay, I'm going to give you that. It's as near as you're going to get to the data fairy.
All right. Well, Liz, I think that's all we have for today, but I think it was a good session, a good hour. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. So
I
thanks for
hope
your
it's been
time, everybody.
useful.
Until next time, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye.